we have something called
Right.
course name here, and we have something called facilities, right? And we have sorry,
Right.
faculties, and we have batches. So uh, what we are trying to do is we are trying to do create three different lists, which is courses. Under courses we have something called course name, duration, overview, fees, right? And
Right.
faculties, under faculty we had faculty name, photo, experience, joining date, courses, and designation. So what we were doing is we were taking these courses from this list. So again we'll be seeing one more thing
Okay.
here, like we already have a course list, we already have a faculty list, right? We'll be creating something called
Right.
batch list, right, where we will be taking course from this list and faculty from this list. Fine. So we'll see how to do that
Okay.
anyways, right? And let's so in these faculties, I hope let's go to our site now, which is we have created list 48548, right? Let me give password. Right, so we were in something called info institute, right? We just created some
Right.
site under this corp IT collection. We have some HR site, account site, and info institute. So these are one of the site we have under something called corp IT collection, right? So under which we have created something called
Okay.
courses, which is nothing but courses, right? I'll just go through the courses ones. Under courses list, we have created this in course name, yes, duration, overview, and fees. Fine.
Right.
So for you, Lakshmi, I'll be I'll be taking one class for you anyways. Don't worry about this, right? So we are just I have to make you learn like what different things can be done on list. That's it, right? So but anyways, we'll be creating one more list like batches, right? Where you will see how to actually create a list and tag. So tagging, we have just started how to tag one list to another, right?
Right.
Okay, fine. So this is the first which we have courses, where we have seen something called course name, which is course name, duration, how much time will it take, an overview of that, right, and fees. And in the same way we have seen something called faculties. So in faculties what we have done is uh, uh, don't get into these images. I've just taken an example of these, right? So where actually to show that you can have a photo of faculty, right? You have a faculty name here, right? And you have a photo of the faculty. You have an experience, so how much experience you have got, right? And joining date, we gave date. And see here, we have we have something called courses. So what we have done is, in this list we have tagged these courses with this list, right? So that's what we have done. So anyways, we'll be checking out how to tag even from batches, right? And we have done something called designation. Now, so in this in all this we have seen something called adding a new record. So again, let's add one more record here, right? Which is nothing but add new item. You can see again everything here, like again it says faculty name. Let us give again faculty name as faculty 3, right? Can you see here, it is asking for some URL, right? So here we gave some URL which is already saved in a host. We just took some URL from Google and we expanded that URL, right? And we just took here, right? So that is how we took. Now today we'll see how to take an image which is actually stored in our local local file, right? So basically whenever you install your SharePoint, you will be getting this. Let me show you that. Go to my computer, right? See, go to program files, right? You will be having something called common files. Under common files, right, you have something called Microsoft shared, right? Under Microsoft shared, right, you have something called web server extensions, right? Now under 14,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Under 14 you have something called template. Yeah, template,
Okay.
right? Under template, yeah, you can see this. So until this part, see program files, common files, Microsoft shared extensions, 14 and template. Till this point, can you see all our pages? If you can see, you have something called pages, scenarios, right? Everything is being saved here
Yeah.
actually. Themes. So this is a path where actually you can see something like, let me close this up, right? Let us go to something called faculties, right? Let me go back to Info Institute, right? So whatever you can see here, everything is being saved here under template, right? So if you want, so in under
Yeah.
template we have something called images folder, right? Let me say some images are here, right?
Yeah.
So let us say I want to take some image. Let me take this image. Let us say this is one of the picture of a faculty, right? So how we can do that is, until this template, let me add one new one item. Let us say faculty 3, and so now I don't want to give any URL which is on internet, but I want to give a path where it is being saved in my shared folder, right? Which I can give in this way.
Yeah.
If you say
Yeah.
backward slash underscore layout backward slash, it means you are directly accessing something called template. It will automatically take you to template folder, right? So under template folder we have something
Okay.
called images, right? Let me just go to images,
Yeah.
right? And under images we have something called, let me take some image here, right? Let me say take this image which is some decent image, right? And which is
Yeah.
nothing but this, and let me take the type of this image, because I have to provide the extension of that. It's .gif. Let me take it as .gif, right? So this is my photo path. Now click
Yeah.
here to test. Now let us see whether this is actually accessible or not. Click here to test. I'm not able to do that. Why? Layout, something called, I'm sorry, it's layouts. Lay, louts. Anyways, you'll be getting these type of things. Now can you see this my image now? Which means I am able to browse my image here, which is nothing but layouts is nothing but it will take you to a till template page. Under template page we have something called images, right? This is the images folder, and under image I
Yeah.
have taken some image, right? So this is the one. So let me just go and save this up, okay? And experience, let me give
Yeah.
it something like 4 years experience, and here can you see courses, just add it up, right? And SharePoint, and just say save, right? So can you see here
Yeah.
faculty and image, right?
Yeah.
So we have got added. So
Yes.
now you can see, let me go and edit this one, which is, if you want to edit some record in here, you can just go back here, click on this, and you can edit item, or you can directly go to some page here, click on this, you'll be getting all options, edit item, right? If you can see
Yeah.
here, I have given some internet option, like I have given some link here which is actually from internet, right? So this is how we give URL from internet, or you can also get some local path, fine. So this is how we do.
Mm. Okay.
So now we have added something called faculties, where I have got 3 faculties, and now if you can see, I've given something called 4, right? So which means
Yeah.
I'm calculating my designation based on experience, right?
Okay.
So how we are calculating is this way. Let me go back to faculties, right? So if you want to see all any property of this, you have to go to list, right? You have something called list, and go back to list settings. I'll be showing all these things now for your more information, Lakshmi, right? And
Okay.
if we have something called designation, right? So if you can see here, we have taken this designation of type calculated, right? Let me click on that. So for each and every column, right? you will be having so many options. I'll be showing that. Now can you see here, I've used some formula here. I just said if my experience is less than 1, I just said it's a fresher, right? In else part I've taken something like
Okay.
if my experience is less than or equal to 3, he's a junior, or else if these two conditions fails, he'll be a senior, right? So that is how we are seeing. So in the same way, we have added some experience of 2, it automatically tick junior, 0 is a fresher, and 4 years is a senior. Fine. So this is how we
Okay.
just added something called faculties, right? Now let us go and add something called batches. So this batch, I'm gonna use two lists, which is for faculty. I'm going to use this faculty list, and for course and be using this course, right? So now let us start like how to, let us say I am in my page info institute, right? I want to add a new list again. So how to add? Again, go to site actions, here go to more options, right? And here we have something called, so this is a more, this more options is options of everything in your SharePoint, right? Let me go to list here,
Yes.
and let us take something called custom list, right? Let me call it as again something called batches. I want to create a list for batches, right? Create,
Yeah.
and it will create you a default list, right? We just selected some custom list, right? It won't have anything, it will just have a default column called list, right? And with no data. So this is a basic way how we create a list, right? So now what we
Yes.
want to do is, we don't want this title here, but we want some more columns which are nothing but these, right? Let us see how to actually create a column here. So if you want to create a column, if you can see here, you have an option directly in this ribbon under list, like create column, right? Or if you want to modify, let us say I already have a column here title, let us say I want to modify this. So how to modify this again? So in list, go to something called list settings, click on that, right? And here you can see all the columns, title, created by, modified by. Go to title and just say my batch name, right? And click on OK. So now go back to your list called batches. Now you can see the batch name, right? So your list is being replaced by
Yes.
your batch name. Now let me add all other columns. How to add these columns is, so again, you're in a list called some batches. Go to list. Here you can add column in two ways. Either click on this, right, create column, or you can go back to list settings, click on list settings, and you will be taken to all columns here, which is batch name created by. You will be having one option called create column. Click on that. Now this is again very important to learn again. So here I'll be giving my column name as location. So here we have so many other column types, which is single line text, which means you can give one line which is location. I just want to show it as a location, as some place like, New York, New Jersey, some place, right? You can just give that. Multiple lines is nothing but if you want to add a paragraph or more than one lines, right? For that data under this
Yeah.
column, you will go for this. Choice, we'll be seeing what is choice, we'll be seeing number, currency and all now, right? So these are different type of columns. Now we have just seen something called under faculties, right? So
Yeah.
we have seen something called photo, right? So that column was of type, if you can see here, hyperlink or picture. So that was of this type. So for location, let
Okay.
me take something as choice, where I'll be giving some choice for selecting, right? So let's go down. Let us say here you can see something called additional column settings, right? Where I have given something like, so the choices, which what choice I can take. I'll just say require this column contain information. When I click on yes, it means I'm making this column mandatory. Whenever you try to add a record, you have to provide the location, right? And here you have to mention all your
Okay.
choices. Let me give some choices here. Let me take some thing like. New York, right? Like New Jersey, right? And let's say New Orleans, something, right? Some some places here, right? I've just given a choice for them, and let me take it as a
Yeah.
drop down because I want user to select only one option so that I can either go for drop down or radio button. I can give either of that, but let me take drop down, right? And here can you see
Okay.
one more option here? It is something
Can
like
you
allow.
give me one,
Yeah,
Srinath?
yeah,
Just 1 second, okay? I'm coming.
yeah, sure,
Sorry.
sure.
Sorry, I had a lot of background noise. I had to.
Okay, sure, not a problem. So you're back now.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So we just gave some options here. Now it is some display options which I'll be taking drop down, right? And we have something called allow fill in choices. So this is nothing but, let us say, if one of a guy using this site, you don't have the you don't have the option to select the city here. So we can provide something to type the city name, right? Just say yes. We'll be seeing how it is being given, right? And default value, let us give the first one, which is
Yeah.
nothing but New York, right? And click on OK. Now if you go back to batches, if you can see, now you can see location, right? Which is nothing but a batch name. We have created batch name and location. Now let us create one more column, which is course. Now let me create a column from here, which is create column. So here if you click on create column, it will directly take you to the create column page. So initially we have seen something called list settings, right? Where you will go to list, you will see all the options like what are the columns, what are the different mandatory columns and all. So if you create column, click on create column, it will directly take you to the create column page. So now here what I want is, we want to get the course from this courses list, right? But I don't want to give the separate column for that, but I want to get the courses from this courses list. So how to do that is, you have some option called lookup. So you can see here that information already on this side, right? Let me select this lookup,
Yeah.
right? Just go down, just say this is for quotes, right? This is for quotes. And here you have something called require the column contains, yes, because for a batch it is mandatory to have a quotes, right? Just say yes. And enforce unique values, right? It can't be, because more than one batch can have for a same quotes, right? So don't use this, because if you force it to use unique values, you won't be able to create one more record for a same quotes. Now can you see here, when I selected something called lookup, it gave me to select which list you want. I can see both batches and courses and faculties, right? But here I want a column from courses, right? Which column I want? I want something called course name, right? I want all the course name to be displayed here, right? So that's what it is. Now let me check on this allow multiple values, where I can select more than one, or let me deselect it, because a batch can be there only for one course, right? Now if,
Srinath,
yeah,
sorry to disturb you. So is this how we are interlinking the lists, right?
yeah, these are willing the list, yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
here, actually, you will never be able to see whether we are linking or not. When you click on lookup, right, it will take all the lists here, whatever you have created under this site,
Right.
and you have to select that link, and you have to select under that link what is the column you want to map, right? Under
Okay.
courses I want to map with something called course name, right?
Right.
That is the column where I am mapping to the column called codes, with the codes and the column name called course name, right? So with this,
Okay, only one.
yeah, you can select only one column to map, but you can display multiple columns here. Can you see here? It says add a column to show each of these fields. Let us select something called duration. Fine. So where whenever you select a
Okay.
column, you can select something called duration. Fine.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, we can select all the
you
columns.
can select
Course
all the
name,
columns.
course
No issues.
name.
Yeah, you can select it, but if you select everything unnecessarily, you will be making your list so complicated, right? Which
More
means
complicated.
again,
Yeah,
again,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
yeah, again you are adding all these columns to this. That means, right? So
Hmm.
which we don't need.
And
We'll be
Yeah.
taking, yeah, we'll be taking something called quotes from my quotes name, and just one thing is enough, which is duration, right? So let me select something called duration. Fine. Now, here we have one more very important thing, which is relationship, right? Which is nothing but if I select this relationship, so restrict delete is nothing but, let us say I have a record in my quotes. Fine. So let us say I have a course called Sharepoint in my courses table, right? And I'm using the same
Okay.
codes to create a batch, right? Because I'm connecting my codes to this. Now if I go and try to delete a row from this codes, right? If you use something called restrict delete for this column, what it does, as I'm using this codes in my batch record, it will never allow you to delete that. Fine. So that is nothing but a restrict delete. And if you select something called cascade delete, which means if you delete a course, each and every batch whoever are using that course will be deleted. Right. So let me take you guys understood what I just said, Trupti and Lakshmi.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
want me to explain
kind of.
again, Trupti? I
Yes, please.
Yeah, sure. So let us say in my course table, right, I have a record called Java, right, and some duration like some 60 days and all, right. I have this
Right.
right now. So I have used a course called Java even here, which means my batch name is, let us say, batch one, right, and location is some New York, right, and course is again Java here, and none.
Right.
Now this is one list and this is separate list, right? But here what I am doing, I am getting this value from this quotes, right? Sorry, am I right?
Yeah.
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 So
But we are
now,
interlinking them again, right?
yeah, I've already connected my Java from here. I'm taking my value from here to here, right? So what is the use case here is, if I try to delete this record from this list, right? You getting Trupti? From a list you can
Yeah,
always
I'm
delete a
getting.
record, right? How to delete? You can just go to
Right.
settings and delete, right? So in that way, if I
Right.
try to delete this, as I'm using the same codes here, right? So you
Yeah.
will never be able to delete this if you select something called restrict delete. I'm restricting
Okay. Right.
I'm restricting the delete if I'm using the same codes. If you select something
Okay.
called cascade delete, right, you, and when you are deleting some record from courses, each and every record tagged to this will be deleted from batches also. Fine. So that is nothing but your
Okay.
cascade. So that is what is nothing but relationship. Let me select restrict delete here, and let us see what happens, right? And let me click on OK.
Okay.
So that
Yeah.
it cannot be.
I'm sorry.
If it's restrict delete, it will not delete from batches also.
Yeah, it won't
Sorry,
be deleting
courses
from
also.
batches, and even you will not be able to delete codes.
Delete.
You won't be able to delete even the codes actually, because it is already indexed to some other table, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's how it
Okay.
works. Fine.
Yeah.
So that is it. So we have just taken codes lookup, and we just said require that columns is yes, right, and enforce no. And we just selected codes table. We've just linked the codes table with the codes name, right? And we just
Yeah.
said we want one more you know column to be shown duration, and we just said enforce relationship, which is restrict delete, right, and click on OK. Now can you see here it says column must be indexed to enforce the relationship, right? It says do you want to index. What do you mean by index? Which means I'm creating an index relationship between this record in courses list to this, which is anyways been internally done, right? So if you're creating index means you are creating something called restrict delete. If you want to delete this, it won't be, you won't be able to delete because it is already the being used here, right? We'll be seeing that when we actually delete the row. Fine. Let's click on OK. Now your quotes, can you see here? Your quotes column is created parallelly. There is some more, so one more created, which is nothing but
Duration.
quotes duration, right? Right. Now let's go back to one more column, which is faculty. Now let us see again. I want a faculty to be selected again from facilities. Sorry, faculties. Let's go back and create a new column. Create column. Let me create faculty. Right. Go and say lookup again. Right. And let us say I want a so here I'll be giving the yes. I want the faculty name for sure. And here now get information from faculties, and I want to map with faculty name. Fine, faculty name. So here I can say allow multiple values, because for one course like Java, I can have multiple faculties, like core Java is one guy, advanced Java, right? I can have multiple faculties for one course. And let us say with this faculty name I want to show something called um, designation, right? I want to see whether he is a senior guy or not, right? And again I find any doubts here.
No.
Okay, we're just going in the same way, right? And let's go back and say okay. Right, we got something called faculty and one more column being added, which is what faculty is designation, right? Now let's go back
Yeah.
and add something called starting date. So like when our batch will be started, create column, so which is start date column, and let's use something called date time here. We have only one column type, which is date time. If you want to restrict this to either date or time, right, you have something called date only or date time. Fine, you can choose any of one of these. Let us say I also want this as a mandatory one. Now you can give a default value. You can give a default value as today's date or mention any of the date, right? It will take that value. Let me just give none because I don't want any default value, and just say okay. Now your starting date is now this is how we create a list, keeping everything in mind during creation of a column. Fine. Now let us see, whenever we add something, so we'll be understanding whatever we have done there, right? So let me give batch name as batch 1. So can you see here, I just selected something called fill, autofill, right? So which means if you select, if you don't have any option here like New York or something, or if you have don't have, just select this and you can just give your place. Otherwise you can just
Oh,
select
yeah.
from one of
Yeah.
your place, right? And courses are given as a only one, you can select only one course at a time, right? I have not given multiple, so let
Yeah.
me select something called Sharepoint, or let me select something called Java, because we have just seen some examples of Java. Now I said we can select multiple faculties, that's why we got something called list here and list destination here. Just add some faculty 1 and faculty 3, that these two guys can teach Java, right? And starting date
Yeah.
is, let us say something called my batch is going to start from some 10th of this month, right? And just say save,
Yeah.
right? So here can you see here, when you selected codes, automatically you got something called course duration, right? We haven't selected this now,
Yes.
which means this duration we got it from something called codes table, right? Duration.
Yes.
Now again in my faculty, I just selected something called faculty 1 and faculty 3, and it automatically gave me the designation. So the first one is junior, which is nothing but faculty 1, and senior for faculty 3. Again we got this designation from our faculties table. Fine. So this is how we created something.
Yes.
Now let me add some more batch 2. Let me specify something here like Canada, like I want some Sharepoint faculty 1, and let's select something called, it will be starting from some 13th, right? And save. Now can you see here? So so whatever you add, it will be retrieved from your from your corresponding list. Okay. So
Yeah.
now we have seen something called, let's, if you want to edit something, let us say I'm adding one more batch 3, right, and something like New Orleans, right, and some Java again, faculty 2, and I forgot to add starting date, right. Can you see here? Because we have made it mandatory,
Yeah.
it will ask something like, yes, you have to provide this, right. So where to create this mandatory?
Yes.
I'll show you. We have added this, right.
His
So
settings.
if you want to make some column mandatory, or if you want to make some column non mandatory, you can do in this way. You can just go to list settings again, go to list settings, right. Here you can see here, right, there is a column required, right. Let us say I don't want my start date to be mandatory. Let's go to start date, click on the starting date. You can see here something called required, that this column contains information, right, which means you are mandatoring, you are making it mandatory. Let me just check it on no, and click on ok, right. Now go back to batches, go to add item. Now you can see there is no red mark here, right, which means I can skip this up, right. Let me add something called batch
Yeah.
3, some New Jersey, some C#.net, and faculty 2, and I can just save it up. So it will be saved. It will be saved without starting date, right? It can be. So which means we
Yes.
have made something non-mandatory. So that's how you make a column mandatory and non-mandatory. Now let us say you should not have a batch, right? Here I just gave the same name, right? Batch 3 and batch 3, where there is some confusion. So how to go and edit this again? Just click on this and edit item, right. You can just go and say batch 4, right. And for batch 4 I also forgot something called starting date. Let me give the starting date as some 25th of this month and just say save, right. It will get updated as it is. Fine.
You
So
clicked
this
on
how,
batch only.
sorry.
You clicked on batch only to edit batch 4.
Yeah, I clicked on this here.
Yeah.
You will be getting some drop down, or what you
Okay.
can do,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
checkbox here, you can edit from here, right. Click on this,
Yeah.
right. You will be getting that. Fine. These are, we actually add columns and modify some rows and all. So now again, I think I've already explained. Let me explain again. Let us say by chance I just deleted this delete item, right, but I don't want to delete one complete batch information. So again, from where can I get that batch again? You can go to recycle bin, right. So there will be your batch 4, right. Just click on that and say restore this. If you want to delete it permanently, delete it, because whatever you do in info under this side, everything will go to the single recycle bin, right. So as of now you are seeing only one, but you will be having so many things, like so many rows, so many wiki pages, so many sites and all, right. If you want to restore them, just select it at and restore. If you want to restore, yes. Now, right, it will just keep your data back to your list. Go back to batches and you can see your batch 4 again. Fine. This is how you delete and get back
Yes.
your things. Now we have seen something like, let us go back to courses and let's try to delete one of them. Like, let me delete Java because it is already indexed. So this is my course Java. Let me click on here and delete this item. Arish, you want to delete this item? Okay, right. Can you see here? This
Yes.
item cannot be deleted because an item in batches list is related to an item in course list.
An item.
Fine. So which means we have already indexed something called courses, the column name course name, to this, to something called batches. So both are indexed. So which means if you have a common record, you will never be able to delete either of them. Fine. So that's how it is.
Yes.
Just click on go back to site, right. Now you got something called back to list. Now let us do one thing. Let us go back to quotes column again, right. Let us say something called cascade delete, right. Let's see what happens there. Go back to quotes. Let me give enforce relation behavior as cascade delete, right. Just click on ok.
Yeah.
Let us see whether it takes it or not, right? Go back to courses now. Go back to Java. Click on this. Delete item. Sending item will also send later. Okay, fine, fine. Can you see this? Now, which means, when we did something called cascade, which means the index will be deleted, right? But it is allowed, but it says both the items will go to recycle bin. Let us say, okay, I want both the items to go back to recycle bin. Can you see here? Now it is been deleted, right? So that is nothing but a
Right.
indexing or
Yes.
connection. Yes, Trupti, you have
Yes.
any doubt?
No, I'm okay here.
Okay, fine. So if you want to get back, go to recycle bin. In recycle bin, you can see this, right? You can see this type, which means it is
Yes.
connected type, right? Just click on this and say restore selection. Okay. So which means go to courses first. Your Java will be retained. Go to batches. Your batches which are connected to Java will be retained, right? Okay, I didn't show you that one, right? Let me just delete it again, and we'll see whether those things have gone from there or not. So my Java got deleted. So when I go to batches, can you see here the both the records
Yes.
which have Java got deleted, right? So in order to get them back again, go to recycle bin again, click over here, restore items, right? Restore selection. Okay. When you come to batches, it will be retrieved back. In the same way, when you come to courses, they'll be retrieved back. Fine. So these are we actually work with complete lists on this, and we can write something called conditions, which we have seen something like how to calculate designation on using some other thing and all, right? So these are we create, and now again, uh, we just connected different lists, right? And we created something called indices between two different lists again. So again, just to make you understand again, list is nothing but for real time, whenever you're developing a normal website in normal programming language like .NET, you have to maintain your data in something called database, and you have to write everything to get into your page, right? But in SharePoint, everything is being internally built, but for the end user, a list is nothing but a database. All the data will reside in list. So whatever you do for a list like indexing, connection, and interrelation between two lists, everything will be done on a list, but internally it will be indexed to the database columns, right? So these are
Yes.
we actually work with lists, and how to create a list, and how to interrelate between lists, and how to interrelate within two columns in between lists and all, right? So this is all about lists we have. Fine. So I'll just share you this video so that you can just go back and work it out, right? And for your information, Lakshmi, I'll share you my
Yeah.
Dropbox from past three classes. It's been a very core concept we have discussed. You can just go through the videos, right?
Okay.
Yeah, anyways, I'll be sharing the same today's class video and yesterday class video. Again, it's a complete list anyways, right? I'll share you the all of them, and you can just practice them.
Okay.
Fine. Trupti, any doubt again here?
Yeah, sure. Can you go back to the
Yeah, I have
the
one
course? I
doubt
have a quick
actually.
question for you on there.
I'm sorry.
Can you go back to the course list? I have a quick question for you on there.
Sure, sure.
No, actually, batches. Sorry.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. I'm just a bit confused how you got the facility designation, the junior, senior. If you could just explain that to me quickly.
Yeah, sure. So whenever I added my faculty here, so for this I have to go back to list, right? And I have
Right.
to go back to list settings where there is a column called faculty, right? I added actually
Right. Yeah.
faculty. In faculty, this is my actual column, right? If you can see under batches, I have only faculty, right? So I have
Right.
made this faculty as a lookup, and I have tagged this faculty to some list called faculties, right? Under which I have actually tagged to
Okay.
faculty name. Fine.
Okay.
But I have also included, see here, add a column to show each of these additional fields. I have added something called designation, right? So that is why it
Okay.
is showing faculty name as a faculty and designation. If you go back to faculty batches again, you can see faculty which I have actually tagged, but I can also see something called designation of the faculty. Now here, if there are two faculties, you can see both designations. If there is one faculty, you can see only one duration. Fine.
One. Thursday.
See, same way
Okay.
as we,
So
let's go back to faculties. So I hope you understood this. When we added something called
yeah,
courses, right, multiple courses, and now you understood how we got something called duration. For a course there will be
yeah,
duration, right? So that is how we added
right.
something. So
Okay. So it
yeah,
just basically from the other list, it picked the information and it gave you the junior, senior, whatever.
yes,
That
perfect,
correct?
yes, correct, yeah.
Okay.
So now here, so why we are tagging in this way is, let me just give you an example. Let us say why we have to tag. There should be some reason why we are tagging some other things with some other list, right? So now let me give that once. Let us say your Java, you can see Java here, the course duration is
Yeah.
60, right? But let us say some advanced topics came and it went to 65. So what happens now?
Okay.
There are so many batches which are using Java here 60, Java here 60, right? So you don't have to touch any of this. Just go to courses. Here we have Java. Just click on edit item, right? I'll just, let me just make it as some 7 to some 68 hours, right? And save this, right? So what I have done is I have just edited my Java in a course list. Now let's go back to batches now. Can you see here? My Java got updated to
68.
68. My Java got
68.
updated to 68. Fine. So these are, so we are keeping a centric data point here, right? And we are making sure that all the other lists are being affected. In the same way, here you can see here my faculty 1 is a junior, right? Again, and my faculty 1 is again a junior, right? But sometime he'll become a senior, right? Sometime.
Pressure.
So let us say my faculty
Right.
has become senior here. Let us go to faculties, right? My faculty 1 have got 2 years experience, because that's why he is junior. Let me change the experience to edit item. Let me change the experience to 5 years, right? And click on save. Can you see here, it automatically changes to senior, right? Because we have
Right.
done some calculation of this, which means my faculty 1 is 5 years
Where you
experience.
have done?
Sorry.
No,
Yes,
no, no,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Where you have done this designation, this senior, this program, where you
Yeah.
have written that?
Okay, I'll show
This
you.
one?
So in
I cannot even.
faculties,
That one I want.
yeah, yeah. I hope I have shown you that. I'll show you again. In faculties, we have something called designation column, right? Right.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
yeah,
so what the main use case is like this, Lakshmi. The designation we wanted to create the designation based on experience. So I'll just show you a part of code here.
Mm,
So we wanted to write this code, right?
yeah,
If the experience is less than 1 year, we wanted to give the designation as a fresher, right? If the experience is less than 3 years, we wanted to give some junior, and otherwise
yeah,
senior. So how to write a code here is, just again same, go to list,
yeah.
again go to list settings, right? List settings, and again cell,
Settings. Okay.
yeah. You want me to get back again? Faculties, right? You have something called list here, right? You have to first select your list, right? And go to list. You have something called list tools. Under list tools, go to list, right? And under this you have something called list settings. So this is the place where you can actually modify everything in your list, right? So now here we have something called designation column, right?
Okay.
So can you see the type of the designation column? The type is calculated, and calculation
Yeah,
is
yeah,
based on other
yeah.
columns, right? So let's go to this. Can you see here, there
Okay.
is something called formula,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
We just use some column, insert column, right? We just use some column like experience. I'll show you this in a bigger image here. So this is the formula which we have used. Can you see this now?
Mm.
Like
Yes,
we
yes,
just
yes.
use something called if experience is less than 1, then use,
It's
I'll just show you here. We have just splitted it again. I'll just show you in a bigger way. right? I'll just let me create C sharp. Now, can you see? These are Trupti. Even you can hear this because I'm just explaining you
Yeah.
the logic again. I said if,
Yeah.
right? When I clicked if, there will be a starting bracket and ending bracket, right? I can show it, it shows in
Yeah.
red. Now, if my
Yes.
price is, I mean, here just consider the experience, right? Don't take it as a price, take it as experience again, experience, right? If my price is less than 1, right? Comma, which means if it is
Yes.
true, go for fresher, else go for next statement.
Yes.
Again, in next statement, what I have done is I have
Yes.
written one more if my experience is less than 3, type in junior or else senior, right? So there are three conditions: first condition, second condition, or else condition. Fresher, junior, and senior. Fine. So we have applied the same formula and we have pasted in here, right? So with respect to the experience you are providing, it will calculate using this formula and it will show you the corresponding designation here. Fine. Right,
Nice.
Lakshmi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. So you can just give a try for this. I'll be sharing this video. Just give a try for calculating something, right? And here I was
Okay.
in between something. I just changed my faculty one from 2 to 5 years, and he became junior to senior, right? Let's go back to batches and see what
Yes.
happened. Can you see here? Faculty one became senior.
Yeah.
Faculty one became senior.
Yes.
So that's
Senior.
why.
So whatever you do in the first list,
Exactly.
it
So
affects
whatever
in the
you
last
do,
list. Yeah.
yep, correct. Whatever you do in the previous list, and if it is connected to any other list, it will be affecting directly.
That list. Okay. I got
Fi-
that.
yeah, fine. So that's why
Yes.
we actually connect the tables. It is based as it is something which we actually do in some database tables, right? Connecting primary tables and connecting to some other. So the same funda is being used here, right?
Okay.
So that's why we work with so these are something which we can do with lists and all, right? So I'll be sharing this video, so I hope you guys are clear with this, right? uh,
Yeah.
Lakshmi,
Yes.
I'm just concerned about you on this list again. I'll be just go through this. If you want, I'll take you a separate 1 hour class, right?
Okay.
Okay, I'll take you separate 1 hour class, and I'll explain you everything whatever is there in video again for you, right? So that you know that is the
Okay.
only class you are lagging behind. And I've explained you with these
Okay.
batches. I've explained you everything actually. I've explained you more clearly how to create a batch and all, right?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Fine, Trupti. Then Lakshmi. Then
Yeah.
let's
Fine.
wind up here and let's meet tomorrow at the same time. Fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
No
I have
problem.
a one
See you
this
tomorrow.
week that SharePoint has not is not able to download. I'm not able to download that one yesterday. I tried it a lot today also.
No, download in the
I don't know.
sense. Acha, you are not able to open the
Uh,
page.
the, yeah, yesterday the same thing was. I
Okay.
deleted everything and I started from the starting.
Okay, no issues. We'll do one thing, Lakshmi. We'll just wind up this class and let me see your screen now. Okay. Okay.
Okay, okay. After winding. Okay,
Now, yeah. Okay, Trupti.
okay.
Then I'll see you tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. See
Okay,
you
fine.
tomorrow.
Bye bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, Lakshmi. Yeah, can you just show me that? I mean, where it is?
Uh, no, yesterday you told me to download some SharePoint and everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, downloading everything is being done, right? Even installation is done, right, Lakshmi?
But the same error is coming when I'm running the setup.
Okay, you have done the restart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have done the restart.
Okay, can you just share your screen once in a team viewer? Can you just share me
See,
team viewer? Yeah.
yeah, I can here in Okay.
TeamViewer, yeah, not in Skype because Skype will not make you touch that screen, right? Can you just
Just- Okay, you need my ID, right?
yeah, I need your ID and the password which you are generating now here.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.